All right, we're talking Clone Wars, second to last episode, the penultimate episode of the franchise.
Wow,
Great
good
word.
vocab word.
I used it the other day for Westworld. It was great. I actually said in our Westworld breakdown, I get to use this again on Friday. The last episode is actually on May the 4th. It's on Monday. So we don't have that long of a wait, which is great because I think the last episode is going to be the best. And we'll get into why I think that. Why I think that is going to probably be the case. But this one was pretty great. Let's just break it down. They continued the storyline, this mini movie. Not even a mini movie, it's 2 hours. If you combine them all, it's about 2 hours.
Yeah, it's pretty much just a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie broken down into 4 episodes. It's the third one, and this deals with Order 66, this episode. Mandalore, we open up, is in ruins. Not ruins as in everyone's dead, but like there's a lot of people dead, and there was a war. They just had a siege.
It's aftermath, clearly.
And they open up, too, with the clones theme. If you notice, like, when they're doing the opening crawl thing, they did it. Loved it.
They also, there's some Mandalorian stuff I want to get into, and I'll get into it at the end. Actually, I put in the rundown that we're going to talk about it now. I'm going to talk about it at the end because there's a major tie to the Mandalorian, which they don't have to address it, but I'd be shocked if it wasn't the storyline for the next episode. We have seen, I believe, I went through the trailer this morning. We have seen every clip that's been in all the trailers. So anything from the next episode, unless I'm missing, and I very well might be, but I don't believe we have seen anything from the next episode yet in a trailer. I'd have to check again, but I'm pretty confident on that. So we'll get to the Mandalorian. There's a major thing that was teased in the Mandalorian that is supposed to happen with the Siege of Mandalore, and it hasn't happened yet. So we'll get to that. Ahsoka asks about Anakin, asks Rex, like, how's Anakin? Where's Anakin? And he says he was just in a meeting. I was just there in a meeting with him before I got here. We figure out what that meeting was. That meeting was the meeting that May sent him away to go tell the Chancellor, hey, Obi-Wan captured Grievous. And we finally get the moment. We finally get the I sense a plot to destroy the Jedi moment. Mm-hmm. So the last episode was not lined up. There were some rumors and speculation that the music implied it was lined up with Revenge of the Sith, with Palpatine killing Mace, Palpatine and Anakin killing Mace. Not the case. That has not happened yet in this story. Where we're at is Obi-Wan is on Utapau finding Grievous, and Anakin is about to go tell the Chancellor, and the Chancellor's about to tell him, Palpatine's about to tell him that he's Sidious. He's the bad guy. He's the bad dude. So that's what's about to happen in that timeline. So we get that whole meeting. We see the same thing that was said, same exact lines. Very cool. Io Sakura's there. Ki-Adi-Mundi's there. Yoda and Mace. And the last moment in the movie is Yoda saying, great care we must take. And then it cuts to a next scene. It cuts to Anakin arriving at the Chancellor's quarters. But this one doesn't cut, and Ahsoka walks in, which is cool. It's like really neat to see like what happened in the movie that we didn't see.
Yeah.
And they're in the same positions, too. Like, I went back and watched the old scene, and I was like, damn, they're even, like, standing in the same spots. They're doing the same lines. Oh.
Yeah, you know Dave Filoni was, like, locking that down. I just think it was cool. We've heard forever, right, about the Clone Wars. One of the main gripes is, hey, Ahsoka isn't in any of the movies. This doesn't make a lot of sense to make her such a great, friend to Anakin and Obi-Wan and such a vital part of the actual war. And her not be referenced in the movie. This sort of, like, in a weird way, makes that more excusable, right? Like, she was around during Revenge of the Sith. We just didn't see her in the movie that we got.
No, we didn't see her.
It's very strange because on paper, I feel like this would make it more intricate and hard to, like, put together and be like, really, she's not in it, but she's in the scene, directly following. But it really does work, and I'm not just saying that.
And it obviously Rex debriefed the Jedi before Cody did, because Commander Cody in the movie says General Kenobi's found him, he's found Grievous, and Rex had mentioned, like, I was just in a meeting where Anakin was, so he had told them about the Mandalorians because they asked Ahsoka, they're like, hey, we heard it was a success. We heard your mission was a go. It went well. Everything is good there. You captured Maul. Mace tells Ahsoka that Anakin's informing the Chancellor. There's that music. I think it's like a mix of Anakin's betrayal and the Padme music, Revenge of the Sith, that plays. You know, the one where he's kind of waiting. He's waiting and he's thinking about what he's going to do because he's just found out that the Chancellor's evil, and then he's got like the single tear. That's
that's
that
when Mace
music.
goes to. That's when Mace and the little carnival of moron bad fighter guys go to fight.
It's before he gets in that,
Padme's ruminations.
Yes,
That's
Padme, and it's like that, and also a mix between the ending. But it's very clearly that.
There was a lot of that really like almost haunting music in this episode, like the very subtle, like undertony music.
A lot of synth. We had
with Maul. It was almost like Hannibal Lecter with Maul.
We had a lot of people tweet us that, and actually, it's not even just at us. A lot of people are tweeting in general that has a lot of. It is Blade Runner, as KenJac just said. It's very Blade Runner nod this episode with the music, because it was either that music or music that we've heard from the past from Revenge of the Sith. Ahsoka says she's not really a Jedi yet. She's like, I'm not quite back to that. I'm kind of a citizen, which she kind of fucks herself over because then Mace won't tell her about Palpatine. We'll get to that in a little while. We got to get
fucks the universe over a little bit there too.
Mace in that moment, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be old takes exposed for you, my guy.
Which is funny because I imagine you guys thought the same. The second they started disappearing, which I also saw in the Star Wars Reddit, they disappear in the order they die in the movie. When they disappear, I'm like, Yoda's staying on this call. Yoda doesn't hang up like that, and he did. Mm-hmm. He says something's wrong. Like, what's going on? You have. There's something in your head. I can tell Ahsoka, and she really won't divulge the information. And Rex even mentions like, "Hey, you didn't tell him about Anakin. You didn't tell him what we heard about what Maul said." And she's like, "No, I didn't." So that's a big moment as well. She kind of probably makes a mistake on that one. Do you
think there were ever moments like in the Jedi Council where they had to teach Yoda how to use the holograms, or like they were talking over each other, like it was a Zoom call or anything like that, where they were like, Kiata Monday, just go. You say your thing, and then I'll say what I want to say afterwards. Yep, go.
Help desk, I must call. Like that would have been frustrating thing trying to watch Yoda go through.
Yeah, Yoda's this close to his hologram the whole time. And they're like, Jedi Master Yoda, step away from the screen.
Yariel Poof doesn't mute his mic. Yeah. So they're leaving Mandalore. And interesting note, they were shock troopers were there to greet them. Shock troopers are famously the troopers that are searching for Yoda in the Senate building once after him and Palpatine fight. So those are like Palpatine's guards, and they're going to get Maul. Palpatine sent his dudes, and they have Maul in this gigantic. And actually, it's funny because at the beginning of the episode, Maul's tied up. I'm like, what is the use of that with a Jedi?
Right.
What is the use of rope from Home Depot? So I was thinking, like, how do they get him? And sure enough, they actually explained it perfectly. I loved it. They have these old like Jedi. Very like Silence of the Lambs, right?
Like you're saying, Robbie,
yeah, just very much like that, like you said. So he's trapped in that thing, and Bo-Katan mentions that this is the last of its kind, but it's an old like Jedi kind of trapping machine, which makes sense. I think on the front there was like a carving of Tar Vizsla, right? The original Mandalorian who had the dark saber. So a very little cool nod there. But
she made a very specific point to say this is the last one. They've all been destroyed. This is the last one. I feel like there's something there, and it reminded me a little bit of. Do you remember in Rebels the thing that they trap the body of? I think it was Luminara and Dooley. Do you remember the thing they trap her? And it reminded me a little bit of that. And I feel like something in this box has to do with like suppression of force powers. Like, like with the mutants, they have the collars and shit. Like, like X-Men, all that. Something like that. So maybe that's going to play a part in the future, but I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. She did it wasn't even just like, we had one more lying around. Like, this is it. Trust me, we don't have any more.
The last one.
So really great scene of emotion, just music, no dialogue as they're leaving. And you can tell something big's about to happen. And then that's when something big happens. Order 66 takes place. We hear actual audio, Hayden Christensen. We hear Samuel Jackson. Palpatine stuff in this episode was all voiced by Ian McDermott, but it's just the stuff from Revenge of the Sith. Actual audio from Revenge of the Sith, and then you see the bottom of Palpatine's face saying "Execute Order 66." Rex actually, which I'm kind of pissed it didn't dawn on me. Rex is like, I'm going to go debrief or whatever. And I should have felt like, shit, he's about to go get the call. And he gets the call from the Emperor to do.
I know. I didn't think either in the moment. I was just like, it happened. And I was like, oh shit, it's happening right now. Order 66.
Yeah. Something big happens because Ahsoka feels it. And she's like leaving to go find Rex. And as she opens up the door, the hologram disappears. And Rex is like shaking, like visibly distraught over something. And all the clones are kind of reacting to it. His helmet drops out of his hand. And she can tell something's wrong. And as he's about to kill her, he says, "Fine." He's yelling, "Find Fives." And if you've watched Clone Wars, you know who Fives is. Fives is the one clone who discovers that there's something in their head, that there are these chips, and that there is something going on. And he's eventually assassinated, so he doesn't speak on it. So Rex knows that. We know that Rex knows Fives discovered something, but they were never able to really find out what it was. But you had to assume that Rex continued to look around, and he at least has a bit of an assumption. He tells the other clones on the bridge to not – he's like, I've got her, I'll kill her. He takes the initial shots, and they all go after her. Really awesome Ahsoka lightsaber escape. This was just a lot of moves, and then he's able to cut a hole in the ceiling and escape through the ceiling.
Great musical cue.
Yeah, very great. And the music during that is the Anakin's Dark Deed music, specifically the end where Anakin is, again, crying while he's looking over Mustafar. He's already killed that fucking bitch boy old, what's his Newt Gunray.
Wat Tambor.
He's killed all of them already. So that's that same music, that end of that song. That's the perfect part of that music. I'm glad they didn't use the music from like the part where like Plo Koon gets shot out of the air. They used the really like, gritty, brutal, emotional end part of that. It fit perfectly. And then Rex calls for the execution of Darth Maul. That's part of the whole Order 66 plan. Ahsoka helps Maul escape. Maul says the plan is brilliant. He's like, wow, I didn't realize this is what Sidious with Palpatine had in mind.
He's had that energy the whole time. I kind of like that about Maul, is every time he finds out something about the plan, he's like, oh, fuck that Palpatine. Damn. He's good, man.
God, that guy didn't tell me. What a genius.
Yeah.
So says it's brilliant, says all the clones have turned on the Jedi. Ahsoka pretty shocked by that. But Ahsoka's letting him leave, and he's just like, we're not teaming up. Let me be clear on this. You're a diversion. I'm not giving
smart,
you any...
They really make you think that they are going to team up, because when she goes into that cell, you're like, oh, fuck, this is how you get Maul out. That's smart. Like, Order 66 is going down. Ahsoka needs some help, some, sort of teammate in this whole thing. Did you guys think, let me ask you this, when they made a point to be like, Ahsoka's not a Jedi, when they say that in the conference call, I thought that was somehow going to be her out of Order 66. I thought, like, because she's not a Jedi, they don't have to
bring that up.
They didn't have an order to kill her. So I was, like, very back and forth on, are they even going to try? And then when Rex did, obviously, it was a pretty emotional moment. But you continue.
I think they just still view her as such, right?
Yeah.
She's at the very least a threat.
Stormtrooper or clone troopers are like, you got lightsabers, you're a Jedi.
And Maul isn't a Jedi either, and they want to kill him. They just want to kill anyone who's going to be a threat to Sidious down the line.
Which they did mention, too. Notice they did say kill any clones who don't abide by this. Order 66, that's also treason.
And another thing I wanted to bring up is when Ahsoka breaks Maul out, Maul sort of like looks at one of her lightsabers, because she's like, and he's like, do you want to give me a little help there? And she didn't, but I was praying that she would, because Darth Maul fighting with a blue lightsaber, so cool. Kind of fucking sick.
Would have been sick.
I'm glad she didn't, though, because the fight scene was even better without it.
It was. So we'll just talk. So the end of the episode, we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about it in a linear sense. We're going to talk about the Maul stuff right now, just to get it out of the way, and then we'll go back to Ahsoka. So he's like, it's like a little help here, and she's like, I'm not rooting for you, so no, goodbye, leave. And so he leaves, and the rest of Maul we get this episode, very mirroring of Darth Vader at the end of Rogue One, down the hallway, except he doesn't have a lightsaber, using like wall paneling, doors to slice clones in half, decapitate them, cut someone's arm off, does
brutal.
The force hold and throw on the ceiling. It was as brutal as anything we've seen in Clone Wars. It was awesome Darth Maul shit, and shows you how powerful he is. It was pretty fucking cool.
I love, like, that's the best scene you could recreate, right? Like, what's the most beloved scene and most overall universally praised scene in the entire Disney Star Wars movie echelon? It's that one.
Yep.
It's almost like shot for shot Rogue One. It's like literally throws the guy up on the ceiling and cuts the guy's arm off while he's trying to escape through the door. It's so fucking cool.
Ahsoka now needs help. So that's Maul. Maul's wrapped this episode. 100% we're going to get more Maul next episode, because we have to know what happens to him. Ahsoka needs help and to find Rex. So she breaks out some droids. We'll get to some of the other. There's actually not a ton of Easter eggs this episode if you don't count the music. So we'll get to one Easter egg with the droids. One of her old droids, R7, is there. She breaks R7 out. And R7 and the other droids help her find more information on Fives and the chips. We get a message from so I've always said Kaminoan, and the episode they say Kaminoan.
Yeah, freaked me out too.
That was a complete mindfuck. I was today years old, so it's Kaminoan. Is apparently how you say it. I trust Dave Filoni. Nala Se, who is definitely the most villainous of the Kaminoans that we've seen, because in Attack of the Clones, they're not really villain. Like, they, whether they know it or not, they're just kind of like, yeah, these are the clones. Like, you're just getting them. But but some of them do know the chips are in there. Nala is kind of the villain one. KenJac, you looked it up because I couldn't figure it out, but Tiplar, that green Jedi with like the long hair, in the hologram and the information of Fives, we see that Jedi, and that was the Jedi that was killed because of a chip malfunction with, was it Tup? Is that the...
Yeah, Tup.
Yeah, so that was kind of the chain of events where Fives figured out there was something wrong because he's like, I saw Tup kill a Jedi. It was Tiplar. That's the Jedi that you saw. Very, very quick flash of that green Jedi. That's who that was, if you were curious. So Ahsoka now kind of has the information she needs. She needs to create a diversion and find a way to steal Rex away. And they are able to get Rex. They kind of carry Rex away. The droids carry Rex away. They kind of shut some blast doors and close things off. Great plan by Ahsoka. And then she has a medical droid try to find the chip in his head, and she can't find it. It's cloaked, which makes complete sense. You can't, if you're going to go through this whole elaborate plan, you got to at least cloak it in the clone's head. And then she goes in a big time Rogue One reference again. This episode references Rogue One a lot. She pulls the Chirrut line. I am one with the Force is with me. And she says it over and over again, which is awesome. So that's clearly a thing that's been said for generations with Jedi, and it's not just a Chirrut thing, because obviously Rogue One doesn't happen for a while from then. And she's able to channel the Force and speak it through Rex, and Rex is saying it as well. I'm one with the Force is with me. And then the chip shows up on the screen. She's able to get the chip, quickly puts him into surgery, and as he's in surgery, a very quick surgery, by the way, incredibly efficient.
Yeah.
And bandaged up and ready to go. The clones break in. They're shooting Ahsoka. It's the same kind of thing. It reminded me a lot of the Ki-Adi-Mundi death, where she deflected a lot, and it was just too many lasers at once. Just as about it's going to happen. She's going to die. Rex pops back up and shoots them and closes the blast doors. And Rex is good to go. He's taped up where we see him have that scar from Rebels, and now the chip is gone. And he notes, like, yeah, I mean, he's like, it's everyone. And he goes, I didn't want to kill you, but I know I tried to. I know what happened. And people are trying to break in, and that's kind of the end of the episode. That's where we leave on a cliffhanger right now, is that Order 66 has taken place. I don't think in the timeline right now Obi-Wan and Anakin are quite fighting yet, but we're definitely around or near that area. It's near the end of Revenge of the Sith at this moment, where we are as we move to one more episode of the Clone Wars. It was a fucking awesome episode.
Are we going to get any more Obi-Wan and Anakin in the next episode, do you think? Are they going to show it? Like, even like...
I think
is the final episode of the Clone Wars not going to have Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker?
I think what we get probably is maybe Ahsoka trying to get in contact, because, they obviously put the beacon like, hey, old Jedi, come back to the temple, come back here, so that they can kill more of them. You might get the message that Obi-Wan replaces with it, like, hey, this is Obi-Wan Kenobi, stay the fuck away.
True.
That might be her last look at that.
You get that. Here's the prediction. Okay, we'll talk about it at the end. Easter eggs. One Easter egg I wanted to point out. There's a droid that sounds a lot like Chopper from Rebels. It looks like Chopper. Cheap. And it's, again, voiced by Dave Filoni. It's the same type of droid as Chopper from Rebels, who's also in Rogue One, though that's not really – that's like in a circle reference. Yeah, Chopper was very briefly in Rogue One. So that was cool that they got the – because Chopper's a very distinct droid noise. I was like, wait a second. Is that Chopper? And it's not. It's cheap.
He had the little thing. It's the same model droid or whatever, just had a round head instead of a square.
Yeah, the weird kind of thing that sticks out of him. Questions and comments? Everyone's asking this. This is kind of the big thing. What changed with Rex from Rebels? Because Rex's line in Rebels was, we all removed our chips, right? We didn't kill Jedis. So I'm not saying it's like a change or retcon, but it seems like a little different. It seems like Rex may kind of mask a little bit about the story, because he did try to kill a Jedi, and he doesn't quite tell Kanan that. He's like, we removed our chips, and so did Wolf and Gregor. How do they get their chips removed, right? Clearly they didn't do it together. Wolf is one that people have talked about. Wolf has a damaged eye, right? Did Wolf's chip get damaged when his eye got shot? Very possible.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, when he got hurt, very possible that his chip was damaged in that. I don't have any other theories on that.
At this point, Rex could be, hunting down his buddies to be like, all right, let me see if I could maybe get the chip out of a few more of their heads, and we could form another squadron.
Yeah, curious what happens with Jesse and the other guys from Echo during this whole sequence.
Do we think we see any Bad Batch in the next episode?
I think they're done.
Yeah, I think they want to focus more on what we like now in this last arc.
Thought maybe, hey, their chips are fucked up too, because they were like the clones that were wrong in some way.
They actually killed the most Jedi, more than any other clone.
Yeah, they were the best at it.
Their chips were like, make them suffer too.
that big annoying one that I grew sick of. Berserker. It's on its
Tank.
name, but
Rob
Tank.
Riggle.
Yeah, Rob Riggle guy.
Yeah,
User the random idiot said, "I love the difference between Ahsoka and Maul's attacks," and this is, I thought, was a great point, is that Maul's attacks were kills, where Ahsoka's tried her best to disarm. Right? They were disarms and push away because they are still clones. They helped her. She knows something wrong. Where Maul just didn't give a shit. Maul
and Jedi weren't meant to be soldiers, right? That's like her great line from this episode that we saw in the trailer. But that's Ahsoka to her core.
And then at CJ Alante 20 on Twitter said Mace Windu is an asshole. Yes.
He is. He really is in that scene. And I love Mace. I really do. But in that scene, come on, Mace.
He's always been an asshole. Let's get it very clear. He's like as close to a Sith as you can possibly get. He's right toeing that goddamn line. Because like even you can kind of see it in these moments where like they're trying like, oh, we need to seize power from the Chancellor. The Jedi would have to be in charge for once. It's like, yeah, maybe you just want to be in charge, Mace, you fucking asshole. You kind of brought this all on yourself.
Yeah, he's the boss that you never want to have. You're always coming back and complaining, telling Mace Windu stories. You're like, this fucking guy, he made me fucking clean up the entire Jedi room. Fucking Ki-Adi-Mundi left his Wetzel pretzels by his chair, the whole fucking thing.
He's like, yeah, sorry, you're a citizen. I can't tell you. It's like, I mean, Jesus Christ, she captured Darth Maul. She captured Maul.
Hey, dude, listen, times are rough. Like, George is letting everyone drive in the quarantine. You could tell Ahsoka what's going on.
All right, so last episode, what will it cover? I have two thoughts. The first is Mandalore. I think Mandalore is going to be back in the last episode, and here's why. In Mandalorian, when they're cornered in the last episode by Moff Gideon, he says this line. He says,
or perhaps the decommissioned Mandalorian hunter, Din Djarin, has heard the songs of the siege of Mandalore, when gunships outfitted with similar ordnance laid waste to fields of Mandalorian recruits in the night of 1,000 tears.
So that has not happened yet. Like, we have not seen that happen yet. And the gunships and the things that we saw in that episode were all Imperial. I think we do see Anakin again. I think we see him as Vader, though. I think Vader might make the call because I think Imperial forces now will go back to Mandalore. I think Mandalore is, because we know Mandalore is under Imperial control for a long time. I don't know at what point, a long time in this timeline. We know the Purge happens down the road. The Purge and the Siege of Mandalore are two totally different things. But I think we have to see the rest of the Siege of Mandalore in the Night of 1,000 Tears. Like, that just it makes sense that they would show. I don't understand why they wouldn't show it. Especially something that was teased and discussed, and you can really then tie the gap between Ahsoka appearing in the new season of Mandalorian. But I think it will be. I think it's Vader. I think that'll be like his first move is Vader, as he calls for
seeing
the attack
Vader
on
in Clone Wars would be pretty fucking sweet. Seeing him, and every time he showed up in Rebels, looking like the Ralph McQuarrie concept of him, like, so cool. So I would like to see that. I didn't even consider the whole Siege of Mandalore. I just figured, like, oh yeah, we saw it. But like you said, the Night of 1,000 Tears. Like,
it's so distinctly referenced in material from Dave Filoni that you're just like,
you're right.
Like,
I like that theory. I buy into that, and now I'm like, if that almost doesn't happen in episode 4, maybe I'm disappointed.
And besides that wrap up from Mandalorian, we also need to wrap up some stuff from Rebels. I mean, you need to get where Bo-Katan got to. You also need to. You saw another Easter egg little bit. You saw Ursa Wren alongside Bo-Katan when they were walking up the platform with Maul. Like, they have to wrap up a little bit of that, like them fighting versus the Imperials. I don't know at what point that's going to be, though. Are they going to like flash forward for when they're outfitted from clones to Imperials and all that? But I don't know. Love to see it though.
I know. I'm so curious as to, like, what is the final shot of the Clone Wars series going to be?
Has to be Vader.
This is it. Like, it's the final season again. You know, we're doing the finale. You can't do, all right, season 8. We're going to do one more. This is it. So, like, how are you going to wrap this thing up? This is so beloved to so many people. So many people hold it sacred and have for so many years. A lot of pressure.
I guarantee we get Vader. To the extent of what I said, I don't know. I can't guarantee that, but you will see Vader. You just have to. It wouldn't make sense for Ahsoka's storyline with this show to wrap up and not see Vader one last time.
Who do you think breaks into the room that they're all in, the medical room? Because I don't think that's going to be clones that they're going to be like opening the door, you know?
Could be Maul, but what would Maul have to do that? I don't know.
It's a good question. Maybe he has his lightsaber on scene.
Yeah, I was going to say Maul could definitely be a possibility, and just that, like, Ahsoka is very, hey, I'm not going to help you. I don't care about your survival. But he might be like, hey, man, I know for a fact that to escape this place, we need to team up, so let's go.
they jettisoned and destroyed all the escape pods too, so they really don't have any choice in the matter. And they're also in hyperspace, so they need to like stop the ship and get out. There's a lot of stuff they have to do. Something we didn't get to talk about, I just want to note, I think one of the better kind of notes that they hit during this movie or during this episode, whatever, is when Ahsoka's talking to Rex when they're on the bridge and they're noting like, well, we only exist because of like this war. So like, and Ahsoka's like, maybe that's a good thing then. The one positive to come out of this war. And Rex is kind of questioning the existence of the clones. And like, it's kind of like an unsaid thing, but the clones were really only bred to kill the Jedi. Like that was their only real purpose they even created, was to destroy the Jedi Order. And like you kind of think in retrospect, like, oh, they were made to defeat the droid army and all that. But the droid army was just like, that's all a distraction. That's a false flag by Sidious, that distraction war, so that he can gain power over this army and use that army.
He just needed to buy time,
Exactly. So it's kind of cool to see that, like like him mention that, and then you see their real full purpose.
Yeah, the whole episode was fucking awesome. I liked the action in the last two was great. I like that we got something more emotional here because like that is so important with being a parallel to Revenge of the Sith. I think the last one though, I will be shocked if they don't mention the stuff we heard in Mandalorian. I think there's going to be a major tie to the Mandalorian, which will be fucking goosebump worthy. That'll be amazing to get that connection finally, like a real connection. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe we get Moff Gideon. I don't know. That'd be insane. He's old
that'd
enough.
Be crazy. Yeah,
he's old enough. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's it. So make sure to hit subscribe. Let us know below what do you think's gonna happen in the last episode. But hit subscribe, hit the bell icon. You know when the next one comes out. I don't know when we're gonna recap. It may be Monday, maybe Tuesday. We're gonna try to get it out as quick as possible. This also is the finale of Westworld Monday, so great timing. That's it. For KenJac, Robbie, I'm Jeff Lowe. We'll talk to you May the 4th. May the 5th.